consider us the table of contents.
No bigger endorsement than being referred to as the front of the book, the table of contents.
But do you want it to say the Steve and Kyle podcast? Because then you're a guy wearing your own shirt.
Listen, and I'll say it.
I literally did not.
A special.
I realized as I was saying that I was wearing my own shirt.
There's a special breed of dickhead to wear your own merchandise, Steve.
Yeah.
The runaway favorite, Pharynx Polytechnic, had just been steamrolling the competition weeks prior.
I got some bad news. I just realized that I read the results backwards. I swear to God, they lost 64 to 36%.
All right, hit the music again.
Man, that stuck with me.
I will say this. I entirely forgot about that. So, a little bit behind the curtain, and I talked about this before. As we're recording, if you hear click-clacking on the keyboard, I'm usually either trying to drone out Steve's voice, or
fair enough.
I'm putting down timestamps of things that I find funny or that work that I could put in an intro for a later time. So this week there was a lot. We were particularly funny last week, Steve, which is
that's
hey,
what I hear.
Good job.
Hey, congratulations.
Nice job.
You
last
really,
week.
You really did it.
Because I'll tell you, the 3 weeks before that, not very good.
No good. It was like a desert, a funny desert.
Yep. And then last week was no mirage. We found the flowing river of crystal clear water of funny. So as I'm digging, I had entirely forgot about that, but I saw a timestamp for like an hour and 20 or hour and 30 minutes in, and I thought, boy, we're not doing funny that late in an episode. We're usually hammering in on the news topics of the day.
We're winding down.
We've got Steve's political corner.
We're eating candy.
Yeah. Like, I'm just yelling from a different corner.
Uh-huh.
And I could say that because I don't think anybody makes it that far.
No, definitely not. Yeah, in fact, if you make it to the 1 hour, 20-minute mark, you get $50. We've made that offer every week, and so far, no one has claimed their money.
Damn near 150 episodes. 0 people claimed thus far.
$50.
And so when I finally played that back, and I was like, what happened during the Throat Goblin Championship? And so I had to cut a little bit of the silence out, but there was a 3-second silence of me saying Pharynx Polytechnic being the runaway winner in all these matchups.
Yeah.
3 seconds silence. And then you said, well, I have bad news. And it was like it happened to me all over again as I was dying laughing in the kitchen of my house, remembering what I can call one of the... No offense, Steve. One of the dumbest mishaps possible. Because I saw the screen that you were using.
Yeah. There was no confusion about it. It had one team with a certain percentage, and it had another team with a certain percentage.
Yeah.
And I just...
you flipped them.
To the old flipperoo. The old flip-flop.
Happens to some people. Yeah. Normally people would say happens to the best of us, but
no,
we're not in that category. And last week only exemplified that. So that was a privilege to hear back and remember it like it was happening in the moment again.
Yeah, privilege. That's what I would say.
I really enjoyed it because usually that's on me. I'll do something like that I'll play back.
Yeah, you're
in an
usually
intro.
the stupid one.
But I usually play the big buffoon. That's what I play on this show. Steve is the big oaf.
Yeah. Me stupid.
Me grunt click. Woo. That's our podcast.
Me grunt click.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
And then Steve in the background. Oh, not again.
You nutty guy, you.
And then some music. And then the episode's done.
Some like that oboe oaf music where it's like oh, Kyle's here.
And then things get knocked over. That's usually the way it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, though. I stepped all over it, Steve. I didn't want to interrupt your introduction.
Oh, it is Sunday, May 5th, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, episode number 199.
We We discovered something just before opening these microphones. We are really working to put a dent on the candy shelf.
Yeah, it's a tough job, but, we're here to do it.
Yeah, there's still 2.5 boxes of cereal, 1 billion peppermint patties of varying varieties, still some box candy from Nikki, still some candy from Philip, still some candy from, I want to say it was Trevor in Nashville.
Yeah. I still think we have to do a peppermint patty taste test, like a blind taste test, to see if we know a Pearson's from a York, from a... What was the other brand? Don't we have a third brand up there?
We have the Andes. Those don't really count. We have the Pearson's. We have the Zachary Thin Mints.
The Zachary Thin Mints, yeah.
And then some weird peppermint or some type of peppermint patty in the red and white packaging there. But we discovered, and if there's ever a need, if we ever build APS 4.0, ever, the only reason will be to find a place for all of our junk.
Yeah, we need a permanent home for our candy. Because let's be honest, this shelf, if one more person sends one more thing, this shelf is collapsing.
Well, and space-wise, we're just going to have to, what we have to do is do the old arm sweep, just all off the top, and rebuild it from ground zero. We have to migrate the boxes of cereal, move everything over. But the problem is we've mixed the gifts that we received in there. So when I asked you this morning, hey, Steve, what kind of candy you want to dabble in this morning? And you said a Twix sounds nice. And my fear was, because now the Twix is on the right side before you get to the gifts and the cards and the notes
right,
that we've kept, is that something else was...
Two down from the cereal section, directly adjacent to the candy section.
Yeah, if you head down aisle 3
Sure.
and look on the right side. My fear was that something else was relying on these Twix, and I told you this as I was pulling the Twix out. And I said, Steve, there's a good chance this may be a mistake. And I pulled the Twix out, and what fell was a comedy of things that we've received over the past year, ranging from your Jeep beer cup koozie, the Cheers wooden sign you purchased in Boston.
Did I buy that?
Yeah, I bought the actual wood sign that's hanging in my garage and the Cliffy bauble.
Yeah.
And a couple of cards and notes that we've kept. Beardaments, which was sent to put in your beard around the Christmas season.
Yeah, and of course, and they will be. I'll do an episode later on this year.
Yeah.
We'll stream it or something where I'm wearing beardaments the entire time.
The Tropic Thunder DVD that we got from the brothers Humphrey.
Why did we get a Tropic Thunder DVD?
Because we did a deep dive on this television series Tropic Thunder starring Hulk Hogan when they had a...
Oh, no. You mean Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Thunder in Paradise. How dare I... Boy.
Come on.
Here I go embarrassing myself.
You really sound stupid.
A real dumb... Oh, no, there's a bucket on my foot.
Oh, you clumsy Kyle.
That's how comedies work. Banana peels, buckets on feet.
Yeah.
Falling for the old open a door and a bucket of water falls on top of you and you just put your arms out like the shrug. Who will?
I like how you've adopted my my method of describing movie plots or movie genres. Because with horror movies, you have every horror movie has a bat.
Yeah.
Things that go bump in the night, and a mask. Yeah,
a mask.
Someone with a mask.
So now we've come around on comedy. It's being buckets on feet, banana peels, and an oboe. Boy, we could use some drawings of those from Philip. That would be fantastic. Of horror movies. I'm thinking, kind of like the rudimentary, the designs that you see on like a bathroom door, those type of people, and that's how we would describe the films that we just did.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So all of this stuff comes just flying off of the candy shelf, and that's without even having room for last week's shipment of 2 cases of candy cigarettes and 6 bags of Big League Chew.
I did, I don't know if you noticed, but I put a decent-sized dent in one of the Big League Chew.
You chewing it right now?
I'm not.
You're following etiquette, huh?
I really want to, though.
It's so good.
It is.
For about 6 minutes.
Yeah, but then you just add more.
Yeah.
till you're eventually chewing something about the size of a baseball.
The idea is you really want to get your salivary, your glands.
Sure. Yeah.
Your glands that provide spit really overworked.
Yeah.
So that way at like 8 o'clock tonight, Steve, you're trying to go to bed and there's just a line of drool out of you because it's still trying to, it's still thinking that the big league chew is in your mouth.
Yeah. So
there's no room for that. There's no room for our number 2 pencils and pencil sharpeners up there.
Yeah.
So we have...
So they're sitting here.
They're just here.
Still on the countertop.
Yeah. I've got a loose box of Stallion cigs.
There's candy wrappers everywhere.
We still have a bucket of the hot cocoa kisses that we've been eating on for about a year. This thing is a disaster. I look behind me. I've got a Rocky poster, a canvas of the Mackinac Bridge, 2 posters with Bradley Cooper and UFOs on it. To my right, I've got our Van Wert poster. There's another poster, or that's just a piece of cardboard.
Oh, that's from...
Oh, that goes into the Fathead.
That was from the Fathead. By the way, we have to get the Fathead in the mail tomorrow.
I've got a Cliffy bauble next to me. I've got what looks like you pulled some cable out of the house.
There is, that's... I think every house has one of those areas or those boxes where it's like all of the cables that came with all of the electronics you've bought in the last decade or so. So there's like USB chargers. Yeah. There's 30-pin iPod dock connectors, which haven't existed in like a decade.
I can't even get the... I'll have to take a picture of our surroundings. This thing is a disaster.
Yeah.
And next to that, it looks to be a King James Bible. I don't know. That's a book.
That was a book that someone sent me. I believe that was like an Italian cookbook that someone sent me. Yep.
And then we've got the box for Cheers Trivia.
Yeah.
With some cards that we just decided to not put back in the box.
Yeah, no. I mean, we need them at the ready. When you never know when trivia could break out.
We have an empty candy jar.
I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures of all of the garbage that we have.
Do we know what's in that first class mail package below the Cheers Trivia? Is that something podcast related?
I don't know. Oh, the yellow envelope?
Yeah.
I believe that is that's my motorcycle club patches.
Oh, that's right, which are going to be utilized because, as you announced, it is
Very
scooter
soon.
season.
It is scoot season. I gotta get the hog up and running. I think I flooded the carb when I tried to start it a month ago to scoot to the auto parts store.
That's right, folks. Gotta get the hog running, but he flooded the carb to start off scoot season.
Yeah. Yep. Instead, I had to ride my bike to the auto parts store.
We're going to have to cut this out. There's no chance Annette will stay married to you after hearing that.
Probably not. No, probably not. Well, although she is carrying my child now, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, at the very minimum, you'll have to see her every other weekend when you guys exchange the child.
Yeah, to hand off the kid.
Yeah, and then you can see... But she's not even going to take the time to tell her boyfriend, who's like some, tattooed, rugged...
Yeah, his name is actually Macho.
Yeah, wearing sunglasses and just a manicured goatee. She's not even going to bother to tell him to, stay in the car when you guys exchange kids. So, when your 3 or 4 year old daughter says, "Bye, Dad. See you next week," to Macho, you just have to sit and wallow in shame because as you strap your daughter onto the scooter.
Yeah, you can get child seats for those things, right?
You've realized the error of your ways.
Oh, man. My whole life. It's flashing right before my eyes.
But hey, she can never fully depart your life, Steve, because you'll have to see her every other Friday.
Yeah. At least during scoot season.
At least during scoot season. Man. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's... but, by the way, I guess I spoiled it, Steve. We were supposed to announce it right here, right?
First, that's right. Hold on.
The first place to hear it on the Steve and Kyle podcast is the big gender reveal for Steve and Annette's baby producer Steve.
Yep. Do you want to do a big gender reveal?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. If I remember, in this mess of a room, I think I saw like some colored water balloons that are gonna, we just chuck against the wall.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's
They're gonna
exactly what I was thinking.
explode a color?
Live from APS 3.0, it's Gender Reveal 2019 for the Steve and Kyle podcast. Specifically, Steve. Okay, that was a little long, but let's shorten it up a bit. Here, you give it a shot with this one.
Live from the Steve and Kyle podcast, it's Gender Reveal 2019, which is different than Gender Reveal 2018 for Kyle. This one's for Steve.
All right, we still didn't really get the reveal in there.
I feel like I maybe went into too much detail in the middle.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
How about I intro it?
No. Forget about that. You get to guess boy or girl, and I will tell you via sound effect if it's correct or not.
Okay, boy.
Okay.
Almost as exciting as Cheers Trivia.
Kyle, are my wife and I having a boy or a girl?
The lady who cuts your dad and Judy's hair is never wrong. It's a boy.
Oh. Do you want to take another guess?
Steve, did you just lie to me and it's a boy? Third time's the charm, Steve. You've got to be having a baby girl, right?
Hey, yes we are.
You heard it here first. Tuesday, May 7th on the Steve and Kyle podcast. We'll post the timestamp and everything so you guys all know where to skip right to for the gender reveal.
Yep.
It's a girl for Steve.
It's a girl. Baby girl McKiernan coming September 14th
Yeah.
of this fine year, 2019.
That's outstanding. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So happy for you. It's terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was in the boat. Now, where were you before? And I apologize for any overlap to the side gig. As I've told you before, don't listen. Hate the production.
Yeah.
Can't stand it.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? Were you, because I talked myself into, based on my brother having two boys, her brother having two boys, I thought the numbers are going to add out, and I talked to you about this. I said, eventually the averages are going to catch up. I'm going to have a girl. I'd accepted having a girl. Was looking forward to having a girl. Had girl names picked out, Steve. Mm-hmm. Where were you before finding out via cake last week what you thought you were going to have?
Girl.
From
day one, that's all I thought.
So you decided to look at your dad's hairdresser and just slap her in the face.
Well, no, that seems
figuratively
abusive.
Slap the hairstylist of your father, Hobie, right in the face.
Well, no, but I don't know. I had a feeling since day one there was never a point where I thought we're having a baby boy.
Okay.
And the only names I thought of were girl names. Had no idea, if we had a boy, okay, it's Bob, I guess. I don't know, because I hadn't thought of anything else.
Man, Bob jumping up the chart there of being a namesake. Yeah, man, that's
Bob,
impressive.
Too. Not Robert.
Nope.
Bob.
Yeah. Oh, you go by Robert? Never.
No, Bob.
And I won't. Don't call me that. Where was Annette?
Annette had no thought either way.
Okay.
She wouldn't. I asked her. I annoyed the hell out of her, asking her like every day. So what do you think? What do you think? Think it's a girl? Think it's a boy? Boy, girl, girl, boy? No? Yes? Did
you do any of the old maids tricks? Like there's one where you hold a pendulum over your stomach.
No, I didn't. I didn't even know about them.
If it spins circular, it's one thing. If it spins side to side, it's another gender. Maybe you should do it now.
Well, now that we know, we should test those theories. See if they're...
Listen, doctors have been wrong before.
They have been. But yeah, Annette didn't really have any... She wasn't leaning one way or the other. And it was only in the last, maybe 4 or 5 days leading up to the 20-week ultrasound that I kind of got in my own head. I was like, no, it's a boy. It's going to be a boy. Annette had a dream that it was a boy.
Oh, wow.
And, and then we went to the ultrasound. They, it's crazy how quickly they can tell. Like the woman, because we didn't want her to tell us.
Yep.
She wrote it down on the card.
It's like the first thing they see. It's incredible.
Yeah. So she I'm assuming you guys probably were at the same place that we were.
Yep.
So they have the big monitors on the walls, so we can watch it. But then she also has her monitor right in front of her. So she turned her monitor away from us, and then she turned off the one on the wall, which she didn't need to do, because I'm looking at that thing. I'm like, no clue. Oh, I think that's a hand. I see a hand.
Yeah.
But if she's expecting me to look at that and be like, oh yeah, I can definitely tell. No clue.
Well, maybe you should be flattered, because when we did that in presumably the exact same venue. Now, my wife's a nurse. Now, granted, not a labor nurse or any of that, but she has a better idea of what she's seeing than me.
Right.
The lady didn't even take the time to turn the monitor off for us. She just probably looked at me, the big dumb oaf, walk in with a bucket on his foot. Bucket on his foot and like a tennis ball on my nose for we don't know how'd that get there.
Oh, I left my pudding in my pocket again. And then everybody goes, that's so Kyle.
Okay. Philip, I apologize for putting all this work on you. We need a That's So Kyle sitcom like t-shirt.
Yeah.
I need,
okay, so bucket on foot, tennis ball on nose,
pudding seeping out of pocket,
pudding in your pocket,
and I'm going to be walking through a door with obviously the trap bucket of water.
Yeah.
That's about to fall on my head.
And you have to have your arms in
the Lucky Billy pose.
Yeah, the Lucky Billy pose where palms up and you're kind of going, aw.
I'm Lucky Billy now.
Yeah.
I'm Lucky Billy, and I'm the star of the show, apparently. The big dumb oaf.
Yeah.
Here comes, what was it called? Here Comes Kyle?
That's So Kyle.
That's So Kyle?
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus. So, yeah, they didn't even bother turning it off, but within seconds. And she's like, did you want to know? I said, no, if you could just write it down on a card and put in an envelope, whatever. And you're right. You don't know what you're looking at. I'm the same guy who, when you first hear the heartbeat, and this is where I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be big. I might cry hearing this heartbeat. So we're sitting in the office, and it's like he puts the ultrasound thing on her stomach. Mm-hmm. You start hearing the noise. And he's like, all right, sounds good. And I go, wait a minute.
I didn't hear anything, man.
That was he goes, that was it. And I said, that sounded just like she ate dinner. Like there wasn't anything noticeable about, a heartbeat or anything like that. And maybe it was faint, but it's like, well, I video recorded it. Glad I kind of missed the moment.
Yeah.
That's kind of embarrassing. But
I did that too, and they were able to pick it up very clearly for us.
Oh, really?
For us, there was no doubt what it was.
Okay, so you could hear that immediately then. That's good. So you found out that...
I don't think you could really hear that. But...
Oh, is that the heartbeat?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I still have that somewhere on my phone. And you can probably hear me go, was that
it? Because you no doubt had... a chicken leg in your hand that you were gnawing on.
And then the doctor...
Because that's what you do when you're So Kyle.
The doctor walks out and, oh, that's So Kyle. And then as the door closes, the audience laughs to commercial.
I like this show. I like how you sound like just a complete stooge.
I don't love it.
Here's the heartbeat.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
Strong heartbeat.
That's got
strong beats per minute there.
That's got like BMX bike rider written all over it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's going to be a BMX pro. Definitely. So my baby girl is just 5 months away.
So you've had
4 months.
So you've had all of the names that you said you were thinking of. You think, is it going to be one of those?
I don't know. I think we definitely have one that is
the clubhouse leader.
The clubhouse leader. We have the first name and middle name, and we love it. But it's just we're going to give it some thought.
There's no rush, right?
Let it sink in for a couple of months.
Yep,
or
absolutely.
let it sink in for a month or so and see if we still feel the same way about it. Then
I did find the video, Steve. Maybe I don't know if this. I don't even know how long it is.
Oh yeah.
And then, the second I stopped recording, I said, "Was that it?" Am I crazy? I mean, But it doesn't sound like a beat. It just sounded like the old. I don't know. That
No,
didn't
it sounds like a heartbeat.
Play yours again.
Okay.
Play that because I feel like yours was much more like boom, boom.
Oh, look. Some kids just have better heartbeats than other kids. I mean...
Well, I can't wait to get home and tell Reed that his heartbeat sucks. Poor kid.
Tell him that his yet-to-be-born female friend, Steve and Annette's daughter, has a far superior heartbeat.
He's going to be so embarrassed.
Yeah.
He is. I can already see the shame in his eyes as he poops his pants. I tell him that his heartbeat is nowhere near that of Steve and Annette's unborn girl.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
So now, I know you've already painted, but now that you found out it's a girl, you're going to change the room color. What is the room color now?
The room color, it's like a light greenish color.
Okay, so greenish. So you're going to mix in some hot pinks.
Yeah, definitely. Stripes and...
I feel like those go really well. Maybe some polka dots of like yellow variety.
Yeah, there's going to be My Little Pony everywhere, Barbie, all the other girl stuff.
You gonna reach out to your sister for any advice, parenting?
Nah. Got it figured out. Come on, that's what the internet's for.
I mean, I've got nothing to tell you. Worst dad on the planet.
Haven't learned anything?
I don't even know where he is right now. I hit the road Sunday morning, say, see you in a few hours, bud.
So you just leave him at home?
I think. I don't know, I leave a window cracked.
Yeah. So you can get some air?
In the house, yeah.
Do you need that?
Put a cookie on the ground, make him crawl towards it.
Just put him on a treadmill with a cookie dangling. So he's constantly working towards it.
Yeah. You got to have goals in life.
Yeah, keep him in shape, too.
Gotta have goal. Yeah, a little chubby. Well, that's exciting, Steve. Progression, it's coming along well. What else? So now the real preparation in terms of, you start getting clothes, you have your showers and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, when everyone gives us free stuff.
Decorations coming up. You're going to have to get a crib, all of that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's we bought a chair the other day for the nursery,
like a glider, so Annette can rock him while she's feeding him.
Yep, exactly.
Very nice.
We got that. We got a nice fluffy ottoman to put your feet up on while you're rocking baby girl to sleep.
You know what? I don't know if you've heard this. Most of the time, what children like and what soothes them, they love playing with it, is like a new collection of knives.
Ooh.
Yeah. You don't want to leave those crib side.
Okay, so if we register 4 knives, you guys will buy them? Okay,
Remo
good.
set, too.
Now, again, like it was with the wedding, you have carte blanche to go off the registry 100%. If you remember, for the wedding, our request was a 13-piece outdoor speaker set Bluetooth. Oh, no, not Bluetooth.
That is right.
It had to be... I think it was Red Jaw.
Red Jaw,
because we wanted to knock off Bluetooth technology
in our ever scheming ways to overtake industry that's already established.
Yeah,
we're going to replace Bluetooth with Red Jaw.
Red Jaw.
So if anybody patent pending, if anybody wants,
is it though? Is it?
Sorry.
So
I had forgotten about Red Jaw. Boy, oh boy, we've got millions of dollars sitting in a development hell somewhere.
So yeah, we'll no doubt register at some point, and I don't want to tell you what to buy us because that's kind of rude. But look, you do whatever you want.
Gotcha.
You want to buy us Power Wheels for our newborn? Feel free.
You're not going to like this now, but in 4 years, when Dad remembers where he stored it, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And also, here's your first knife.
Good.
Well, that's great, Steve. Again, I'm very happy for you. I know a lot of the listeners of the podcast very happy for you. Some of them, not so much.
Yeah, that's all right, though, because they're all the worst. Every one of them.
Oof. Boy, Philip, you have company. It's not just you the worst anymore. We have a bit of a little announcement to make, Steve. A development that happened late last night.
Oh, do you want to say we should have talked about this before. I think that we should announce that there's going to be a major guest on the podcast.
Okay.
But I don't want to announce who it is.
Well, I don't want to announce who it is because we don't know when it is.
Yeah,
and there's a good chance this is going to be a long ways off.
This could be a year from now.
Now, this is not TL or TJ. What's that idiot's name who hosts your YouTube truck power show?
Look, man. You do not disrespect LT.
Lawrence Taylor, the linebacker from the New York Football Giants.
Close. Lawrence Tolman.
Oh, boy. Lawrence Tolman feels like the guy at the office who works HR and just bores you to death. With
I don't think he's going to come on the
cats.
podcast if you keep being mean to him.
But you're telling me
he is
hosts,
a successful truck show host.
You're telling me that this guy who hosts YouTube, vroom vroom.
Yeah, they're on the History Channel.
Oh, sorry,
we determined that last week.
We didn't know if it was
after a myriad of other stops on the dial.
We didn't know if it was Spike or TNN.
Yeah,
or the country music television.
Remember Versus
the channel.
Yeah.
What's the channel that all the bike racing was on? It's now. I think it's now the Olympic Channel.
No, I don't even know that one.
Maybe he's on there.
Bike racing, like
they would show Tour.
Okay.
Yeah, the Tour de France.
Gotcha.
On there, and maybe that was Versus. What is Versus now? Is that like one of the NBC or CBS sports things?
I thought that Versus became Spike. I don't know.
Which was TNN, which is now the Paramount Network.
Hold on. Versus
the
TV.
Versus channel.
It's now NBC Sports Network.
Okay, so it is one of the conglomerates bought it and made it just a generic sports network because there's not enough of those right now. But we digress. I don't want to say much more. I'm sure some people might have an inkling already if they've listened to this podcast in the past.
I don't think so. I don't think we've ever talked about this.
This was talked about, at least between you and I, a couple of years now, trying to make this happen. Yeah. Last night, finally happened on essentially on a whim.
Yeah,
and
we'll just say preparations were made.
Yeah,
we won't say how it went down,
but oh man,
this is like
I'm excited.
Right, what level tier is this guest
for us?
For us, it's like
A plus.
Yeah, one double A, triple A, whatever.
In the world of podcast guests,
we should probably watch our words here because in the very unlikely chance that this person hears this.
But in the world of podcast guests, and in terms of the realm he's in,
or she.
I mean, honestly, worst case scenario for me is B plus.
I like that
because
I think that he or she would be happy with that.
Listeners of this podcast will know, based on the crossover of your side gig and the and things that get talked about on there. I think they'll be able to hone in on it, but it's a ways away. Mm-hmm. We're going to do our best to make this.
At least we think so. I mean, if we get the call today saying
it's got to happen,
can you do it at noon?
Yeah,
we're doing it at noon.
That would be a bummer.
Oh boy!
But I'm willing to wait this out a little while. I really am.
Are you nervous about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know we've talked about this, and I know the way I want to do it, and then the pressure's on.
So
somebody with this malarkey that we do, we spent 20 minutes describing a fake sitcom with a frickin' bucket on my foot. Like, is this person chiming in on that?
This person is no doubt already dreading. This is the most dreaded day of the year for this person.
They have to hate it, knowing that this is an obligation.
And I think that we start with that.
Yeah,
you hate this, right?
Yeah, like this has got to be the worst.
You don't want to do this.
Yeah,
because you can just hang up. Imagine if we said that and then they did.
Oh, money down the drain. So we spent a little bit. We dug into the coffers. And by the coffers, I mean our wallets.
yeah. Because that's we could have crowdfunded this.
We still can.
Oh, we still can. Want to solid B+ guest on the old Stephen Kyle podcast.
Pay for our unnamed guest who's already coming on. We volunteered to pay for it, but pay for it. We no timetable on payoff.
No. Well, that was kind of like the billboard. It turned out there was no timetable on that payoff either.
Yeah, boy, that was a year adventure, which I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, because
just came down.
The dream died about a week ago. Our billboard, our big, beautiful mugs on the corner of West Irvin Road, just down the road from a Burger King and a KFC in Van Wert, Ohio.
In the parking lot of Van Wert Bedrooms.
In the parking lot of Van Wert Bedrooms, adjacent to Guaranteed Auto, where our poster is still hanging up. Hopefully. Our billboard came down last week, Steve.
It did.
And
it's a sad day. Sad day for the people of Van Wert. Sad day for the listeners of the Stephen Kyle podcast. Sad day for us.
But exciting, because now we finally get to see if Steve's Pony Express using, Steve Bucks. And
I'm going to make that happen. That will happen. Patrick is going to pick it up. I know Timmy, if we said, Timmy, we need you to drive to Van Wert and pick that thing up, Timmy would have it here in 3 hours.
Timmy would have climbed on the billboard already and ripped it down
peeled
himself.
It down.
But yeah, we have our friend Patrick, who works down in Van Wert and lives nearby.
Yeah.
In the rival town of Dolphin.
Dolphin, yeah.
Is Dolphin, Ohio. The Dolphins. Not very original down there.
No.
In the middle of Ohio or in the Ohio-Indiana border.
Nope.
The Dolphins down in the Animal Conference for sports. Going in, obviously up against the Van Werts on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Well, he's going to pick that up for us.
Yeah, he's going to grab that for us. Now we just need to begin. Now, this was a dream. Nikki, this would be a task for you. To remember when we discussed Steve's Pony Express or whatever we called it at the time, you wanted to make some bartering form of transport with no dollars involved, but using goodwill and points of varying degrees.
Yeah, which you could then trade in for
other services.
Or prizes.
Okay, so now we're at the local go-kart shop. And you're getting a Chinese finger trap if you transport some drywall from Florida to Tennessee.
Well, that would just be silly because you can just buy the drywall in Tennessee. But this is for one of a kind items, like a billboard.
You're right, Steve. Of the premise, the drywall part was the dumbest there. So we're going to need to discuss this with Patrick to see where he is willing or able to bring it. Mm-hmm. And then next week, I think we can put the call out for anybody in the vicinity of where Patrick would bring it.
Yeah.
And then we can see how far they would be willing to bring it, so on and so forth, until we can get our billboard presumably folded up in, lumps or rolled in a 16 or a 10.5 foot long roll.
That's going to be a bummer if Pat goes to pick it up
and it's pieces.
No, it's a 10-foot long roll.
Well, he's going to have to cut it in half.
Yeah, and he's driving like his Volkswagen Beetle or something.
We only had a brief interaction with Pat. By brief, I mean we ate lunch with him and hung out with him for a little bit.
Yeah, BK.
I didn't get the impression he's driving a Beetle, a Jetta, a Civic. I get the impression that Pat needs stairs to get into his pickup.
He's driving a work truck or something, yeah.
But yeah, if it's a 16, or it would be, worst case scenario is it's a 10-foot 9-inch or 10-foot 6-inch long roll. And that,
if he wants to, because really we just want our cutouts, our head cutouts.
Yeah, it would.
Although
would be nice to have the Philip drawing.
I do want the whole thing, and I really want it. No, I want the whole thing. I want to have Van Wert's #1 hometown podcast.
Yep. And so we may end up having to just, if he would, just either fold it in half or cut it in half just to be able to get this thing to us. There's no good way to get a shape that size 3.5 hours. Now,
and then what do we do? Are we wallpapering a wall?
Our discussion, our idea, if and when we build APS 4.0, if this thing ever happens, our initial idea was to do 50% of the walls of the studio which would be about 20 feet. We'd have to shave some off the sides and the
Yeah.
top and the bottom, obviously. Our billboard would be 2 of the walls.
Yeah.
So you'd walk in, our big B+ guest, A++ for us, comes into Steve's basement.
Oh, so you're thinking that he's coming here to the house?
Yeah, he or she is coming here into the basement, meeting Lola, meeting Toby, coming downstairs, and going to see our big cartoonish faces on 2 walls of this studio. And going to sit down and record a podcast. But yeah, that's the plan. We have a lot of ideas for 4.0, and this was one that we had from early on, though, when we got this billboard idea funded and we knew it was going to happen. So, we'll give more details next week once we hear back from how far our friend Patrick is willing to drive with this thing.
He did send us a text. I got to reply to it.
Oh, yeah.
I have to talk to our billboard man. Said he was going to get in touch with us once the billboard
Senior
was down.
account executive Jason. J-Stan.
J-San.
J-Stan, as Steve had to shorten it up. So, yeah, that is, we'll be in touch. If anybody is willing to do that, if you're in, whether it be southern Michigan, northern Indiana, Ohio, whatever, if you're willing to transport that any amount of distance, let us know, and we can, what we can do is we can throw some merch at you. We can get some stuff off the store and send it your way if you're willing to transport that, a little ways.
I've just reached out to our billboard man.
Perfect. Joe, I'm sure he'll reply right away.
He's actually pretty quick. He replied last week when we were recording.
Like on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Which before that, it took 4 months and I had to follow up to get an update on what billboards we could get for our price point.
It did take a little while.
But maybe now that he's got the check with a signature on it and it cleared, maybe now he's, a little more easygoing.
Now I know that over the last month or so, we've had a nice little bump in our numbers from the podcast.
Sure.
Or in our download numbers. Now, we were pretty quick to attribute that to a couple of mentions on the side gig.
That's a good point, yeah.
But that time frame also coincides, coincidentally, with the time that a billboard was up in Van Wert, Ohio.
That's a good point, Steve. Do you think all of our new listeners the last 4 to 5 weeks are just Van Werts?
We can look at our numbers that closely, right? To find out.
I think so. Boy, let me try to
imagine that if we had 50 new downloads in Van Wert alone.
I think it does. You do have to essentially. It'll be part of a metro area.
Okay.
Which I'm guessing there would be Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Maybe Toledo.
Sure.
Or maybe the metropolis of Van Wert.
That's right.
Maybe they get their own. So, yeah, that's boy. I'll have to try to dig those up because you're right, Steve. I think we were a little too quick to give those overpaid microphone monkeys a little bit of credit for our success.
Microphone monkeys, huh?
Excluding you.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, the talented production on that show different than the microphone jockeys or monkeys, whatever you prefer.
Very confident that about 10 minutes ago you said you hate the show, you hate the production.
What's up now?
I could be wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nikki, if you could.
Listen, there's no audio to prove that.
By the way, Zach, where have you been with the fact-checking over the last month or so?
Yeah, well, I think Zach stopped when I stopped retweeting it on accident. I just forgot to do it.
Oh.
But yeah, fact checks are always fun for me to look at and go over. Come
on, Zach. Get back on the wagon.
Stop being a waste of our time. Okay, Steve, I have the Ohio. So our top listened to country is obviously the United States. Mm-hmm. Michigan, our top listened to state, followed by, in an upset of upsets, Virginia.
Virginia, huh?
Yep, followed by Tennessee.
Okay.
Ohio is it's down the list, just below Indiana.
Okay.
But let me see. Do we have listeners in all 50 states? 3 Montana listens.
Hey.
Thank you, Montana, for chiming in. 2 in Idaho.
Big sky country, they call it out there.
Beautiful area. We are extinct from Nevada.
Nothing yet, huh?
And we are extinct from Arkansas.
Okay, if somebody could drive to both of those states, get across the state line, hit download, then head home.
Oh, I know what we're doing, Steve.
50-state tour.
Get the GoFundMe ready. We're putting billboards up. And I want the closest billboard in Nevada to Area 51 because we're putting Aliens' favorite podcast.
Of course, naturally. I mean, and then maybe Philip can turn us into aliens, like give us like a green tint.
What's the biggest conspiracy in Arkansas we can latch onto?
Well,
because that's kind of our home. We talk about conspiracies with no background or anything about it. Conspiracy theories, CIA drug trafficking.
The Arkansas Project.
Former Arkansas senator indicted on conspiracy.
Ooh.
Do we tackle one of those? But those are the two states. Honest, so we even have one listen in Alaska and 6 in Hawaii.
Wow.
But no Arkansas
people are
or
listening
Nevada?
to us in paradise.
No Arkansas or Nevada? That's horrifying. That's terribly sad.
Yeah, very sad.
So let me pull up. Maybe I thought I could get closer. Don't tell me I can't get closer.
I need to see that there's a little hot spot right around Van Wert.
Because that's the only explanation. But yeah, I can't. I have it by country. I don't know if I can narrow it down by town.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could, Steve. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep looking.
Stay tuned for an update next week. Hey, when you got here, did you happen to look out in the backyard? Notice that there's a lack of something out there?
No, I did not, Steve. Should I have?
A lack of a shed out there.
Oh my goodness! It's finally happened.
Gone.
Wow. Okay, so
shed has been removed.
So the rundown shed that you were hoping to get rid of for a while, you've been hoping the wind or a tree would just knock it over.
I was really hoping. That did not happen.
It's finally gone.
A couple weeks ago, I posted on Craigslist and I posted on Facebook. Free shed. I wanted it gone and I was giving it away. You would have thought I was giving away solid gold bars.
Oh, no.
With the amount of people that got in touch with me.
Now, the last time you told me something about this, a man named Rec
showed up to my house.
Showed up to your house, Sam's house, to pick up way too much vinyl fencing.
Yeah, a couple sections of vinyl fence.
To strap onto his Buick.
It was a Lincoln Town Car, I believe.
A Lincoln Town Car. Strapped it, everywhere. And drove out. And that picture lives on in this podcast lore.
Yes.
So, please tell me this went differently, or you just had one nice gentleman or woman say, "Hello, good sir. Thank you very much. I would love to pick up this item at your earliest convenience."
Not exactly.
Please and thank you for your consideration, right?
Not exactly. So I posted the shed thinking maybe somebody will take it. If not, our plan was to get one of those, you ever see the Bagster dumpsters?
Mm-hmm.
We were going to get one of them, put it out in the front yard. I was going to just dismantle the shed.
Sure.
And stack it up in that. Because basically, if I could, I just cut it down, cut all the pieces flat, and I'll just put them in that Bagster, and then they come and pick the thing up, haul it away. We've done that. We did that at the old house when we were renovating the basement, and it worked great. It's super convenient. They pick it up the next day, and it's like $125 total. You buy the thing, the pickup is included in there. So I posted it on Facebook and Craigslist, and man, did my phone start blowing up. Just... Still have the shed? Do you still have the shed? I'll take the shed. I'm coming right now for the shed. Where can I get the shed? And then I realized that I hadn't measured it to see if it would fit through our gate. And when I did that, I realized that the gate is 95 inches wide because we have like a double wide gate on the one side of the house. The shed was 97 inches wide, so the shed was not going to go down without a fight. It wasn't like somebody could back up a trailer into our backyard.
Wasn't willing to leave you in peace.
Haul it on there.
Yeah.
Okay. And drive it out. So I had people saying, "I'll take down your fence," to which I replied, "No, you won't."
No, I appreciate the offer, but not now or ever.
Yeah, it's not happening, man. Sorry. And I had so many people interested. One guy insisted, "Oh, don't worry, I can make it work. I'll get it through that gate." To which I said, "No, you won't, because I measured them. 97 inches is wider than 95 inches.
My God.
It's always going to be."
People just really hell-bent on telling you, I'll get it. I'll fit. You're an idiot measurer.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
So a guy who lives right around the corner, basically, he said, "Hey, I want to come take a look at it tonight." I was like, "All right, cool. Yeah, swing by." Gave him the address. In the meantime, somebody else said, "I want to come take a look at it." And I said, "All right, cool. Come on by." At that point, I don't care. Anybody can come and look at it. So this guy, the one guy that lives around the corner, came in, looked at it. He's like, "All right, I'll take it. Can you take the listing down? I'll come and pick it up tomorrow." I was like, "All right, yeah, great. This is awesome." So then, as he was leaving, another car pulled up, and it was the other person that wanted to look at it. So the guy that I just gave it to, I said to him, I was like, "Hey, they want it too. Don't worry, I'm going to give it to you. Just get out of here. Don't make it awkward." He's like, "All right, see ya." So he sneaks off. The other couple comes in, and they want it too. But now I'm in a weird spot because they drove like 45 minutes to come and get it. So what do? I said, to avoid confrontation, "Yeah, it's all yours. Oh, no. You got it. No problem." But luckily he was like, "Oh, I can't come back until like a week from Saturday to pick it up." And I was like, "Great. No problem. Sounds good." So fast forward to the next day, the first dude comes back, and he's out in our backyard for like 6 hours. And he was meticulously taking this shed apart, piece by piece. And at one point, I looked out there. He had been out there 4 hours. And I looked out in the yard, and that shed looked exactly the same. Not one thing had been changed. But then about 5 minutes after that, I looked out, and 3/4 of the shed was down in pieces. So he had like gone through and taken out every nail and every screw, and it was just like there was one screw still holding it up. Looked out in the yard. He had half of it down. Sent me a text because I specifically told him, I was like, "I'm not helping you, not because I can't, but because I just don't want to."
Okay.
Like I was sitting in the house watching TV, just 20 feet from where this guy was taking my shed apart. Every now and then I'd turn around and look out the window and just kind of give him a wave or a thumbs up, and he's like, he's sweating through his clothes.
So. Give me the timetable then. How long did this take?
Well, he was there. He got there around 4. It was on a Friday. He got there around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And at one point, I noticed I was dozing off on the couch, and it was dark out, and he was still out there. He had like a little headlamp on.
Oh my God.
And then I woke up. I completely fell asleep. I woke up around midnight and turned around, and he was gone. And but it took he took half of it apart, put it in his trailer, hauled it back to his house, came back, took the other half apart, put that in his trailer, hauled it away, and it's gone. It was the greatest shed giveaway ever.
Well, greatest in the fact that you didn't have to do anything.
I didn't have to do a thing. It didn't cost me a penny.
Have you scoped out the area? Was there any residue, or did he leave like pieces of it?
The only thing left behind is like the floor. There was it's like an 8-foot by 8-foot plywood platform. But I have a plan for that.
Now this
my neighbor across the street is doing renovations.
Oh my God.
They have a big dumpster in their yard. I'm thinking,
you're gonna go over there and oh my God.
No, under the cover of darkness, I'm gonna throw stuff in there. I mean, if I know you, I know you're on board for that.
I can't wait, because I thought you were going to go over there and try to, gussy up to the neighbors again, which you're apparently just enamored with the last 6 months. And
no,
instead of doing it that way and talking like, "Hey, what are you doing?" and, fake offer your help to do it, your plan is to wait for nightfall or wait to see their garage go down when they're going to work and go lob this shed floor in there.
Yeah. What do you think?
I can't wait. I'm on board.
You're totally on board.
Yeah,
right?
and I need you to wear, now I've taken some pictures of this, I need you to wear your coal miner's headlight.
Of course, naturally.
To avoid the black lung. And while you try to sneakily jog across the street, shuffling your feet as you cross the cul-de-sac.
With an 8x4 section of plywood and 2x4s above my head.
And then you're going to get over there and you're not going to realize the dumpster's empty. You're going to huck it over your head and you're just going to hear
clang,
the world wake up as it clangs to the bottom of the dumpster, and you try to shuffle back across the cul-de-sac under the shroud of darkness minus your headlamp.
What I need to do is, because they've already had one dumpster picked up, because I noticed when I got home from work the other day, the dumpster was full. It was overflowing. And then a couple hours later, I was out in the front yard and I just happened to look over and it was empty.
Yeah.
So what I need to do is I need to time this. Once I see that their dumpster is full, that's when I need to strike, because it probably means that it's getting picked up the next morning. So I need to. It's going to take a little coordination, some staging.
This is an upset for you, because, like I said, you've been, you're the guy who wants to be buddy with everybody.
Do.
So are you just afraid that they would awkwardly tell you, nah?
I don't want to be the guy, but the guy across the street, he lives there with his mother. And when we had that dumpster here last year, his mother actually came over and she was like, "Oh, do you mind if I throw a couple of things in there?" And it was like a couple of 2x4s or something. No problem. Throw it in there. Plenty of room. So technically, they owe us one.
So you're going to go over there, or the alternative to you under the shroud of darkness lobbing an 8-foot by 4-foot section of wood and plywood into their dumpster without them knowing. The alternative is to go emotionally manipulate a woman and son to allow you to do this, because she kindly asked you a year ago.
She kind of owes us one. I mean, don't you think?
Well, we'll put it on the poll, Steve. Does the older woman? No. Let's.
All right.
We're just going to leave it.
You word it the way you want. I'll word it the way I want. Maybe we'll do a poll to see how the poll should be worded.
All right. So stay tuned for the poll off, and then the regular poll will be up later in the week.
How would you word it?
If I were to keep it simple, because I'm working under the assumption that people have listened to the episode, I would say, does the old woman across the street, and then in quotes, owe Steve one? End quote.
Yeah, I would say last year, Steve's neighbor threw stuff in his dumpster.
God almighty, here we go with a novel.
Does Steve get to throw stuff in their dumpster this year? I don't think that's... I think that's very fair.
It's fine. I mean, if you want some more exposition about the dumpster affair of 2018 to describe the 2019 dumpster affair, you were supposed to have a dumpster for your trees.
It needs context. There needs to be context.
Well, we'll post both of them, and let's see how those polls go.
All right, the first poll is going to say whose poll is better.
Or we just see how much the wording affects things, and we just post both of them, yours and mine, at the same time.
Okay.
And see how the numbers sway.
Okay.
Because I don't think...
All right, everybody, vote in Steve's poll.
I don't think you can't say mine is biased, right? Like, the way I phrase it isn't biased.
Yeah, but
it's just more to the point. It's not giving a lot of background.
It needs context, though. Yeah, we need the context there.
And I feel like we gave enough context when I described the idea of you wearing a black sweatshirt and a coal miner's headlamp, running across your cul-de-sac with an 8-foot by 4-foot section of wood, lobbing it over your head.
Don't get me wrong. By the way, it would be 2 sections.
Yeah. Sorry, of course.
I love the idea. Love it. Love everything about it.
I want it to happen, and I'll videotape it.
We have that GoPro.
Yes. Yes. You need to wear a GoPro and do this. Screw the polls. Screw my idea of you actually talking to your neighbors about this. Just jog over there and do it. This needs to happen. What time are you
in broad daylight? You mean?
What time do you normally go to bed?
9:30.
Boy, it's going to be tight because it's not getting dark until 8:30.
I think I do it in the morning when I'm leaving for work. I'm leaving.
So you're going to do it at 4 in the morning.
I'm out the door at 3:55.
Sprinklers are on, and Steve's.
I mean, not mine.
Oh, God,
we know that.
We know those things aren't functioning.
They're not yet.
And you're gonna throw the...
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care how we do this. I don't care what the poll results are. This is the outcome.
Yeah.
Because you have to do this with the GoPro strapped onto your head as you're chucking 2 chunks of... Because nobody's going to look... They're not going to look in their dumpster, right?
No, but depending on what's in their dumpster, because the other day it looked like it was filled with... They must be, like, really doing
Totally
some major
gutting the
renovations.
inside,
Because
okay.
there was so much carpet in there. So, like, you could just see the rolls of carpet hanging out the top of it. So, if you know that there's only carpet or only kitchen cabinets, if you look in there and then you see that. Although, what are they going to do? They're not going to know where it came from. But what if they have cameras set up?
Oh, God. Yeah, you think they've got, like, deer range cameras
They could have one of those doorbell cams.
Yeah.
The Ring cams. Everyone's got them
But
now.
then they would then have to see something amiss in their dumpster.
But no, those things, don't they...
Ski mask.
Won't they just record
Automatically?
any movement? And it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a ski mask.
No, you leave the neighborhood first. And so you come in, like you walk in from the different direction into the cul-de-sac.
So now I have to carry this...
I don't know what to tell
I
you,
have to carry this platform through the neighborhood.
You're the one introducing the doorbell camera concern. I'm just trying to give you solutions.
I am just trying to cover all my bases.
Okay.
I don't want to be caught.
Hear me out.
Okay.
We'll tag team this.
Oh, you're going to be a part of this?
I'll shoot a flare at their doorbell camera. Won't be able to see a thing. All bright. And you sprint
All right.
with these sections of lumber and hope the flare... How long do flares last?
Probably not as
Couple
long
minutes?
as it's going to take me.
All right. I'll have a backup. I'll have 2 flare guns.
So,
And if they come out, I'll have a real gun.
okay. So now we've resorted to shooting them.
No.
Oh, just for intimidation?
At them. Maybe, pop out a few windows to get their attention diverted.
Oh. All right.
Well, that's on you. You'll have to figure out which rooms they're not using. We're not looking to do any physical harm, just a window replacement.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have to now figure out the
Get a blueprint.
layout of the house.
Yep. See who's sleeping where. Maybe get one of those, FLIR cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Tell temperature in each area.
Yeah, they use them in like the ghost hunting shows.
Yep. You're going to do that to figure out where we can shoot a window out, so you can throw some wood away. All you need to do is just mention that you need to get rid of something to your other neighbor, and as history suggests, you'll have a dumpster in front of both of your houses within an hour.
But I'll also have a bill for it.
You'll have an invoice in your personal email as well.
I don't want to do that. That's why I'm hoping. Here's what my alternative plan is. I'm going to bring the sections out. I'm going to stalk them like a hawk. I'm going to look out my window. As soon as I see them out there carrying stuff out, I'm going to lug one of these sections out and just kind of lean it up against like the side of the house, but kind of the front of the house so they see it there. Then I'll look over. Hey, John, how are you? Strike up a conversation with them. Walk over, chat with them. Oh, doing some renovations? Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw the dumpster. Yeah, we're getting a new shed in a couple weeks. Yep, just getting the backyard ready for it. Got the old rotted plywood I got to get out of there.
And then
kind of lean in.
Yeah, lean in too close and stare, and don't follow up with anything else.
Like a little too wide-eyed, mouth open a little too much. Huh?
Right?
Huh? And then wait for him to say, oh, man, just throw this in there. Remember last year when Mom threw some stuff in your dumpster? I'll be like, Johnny boy.
Oh, what's your
like, my idiot friend was telling me I should shoot flares at your house.
I'm fine with that part, because I'm never going to see or talk to this idiot.
Oh, you will.
Once
we're doing Steve and Annette's movie nights in the cul-de-sac.
Oh, God, you think I'm coming to that?
Your son will love to be here for that, because our kids obviously are going to be best friends.
Oh, there's no question.
So,
but the problem is, one, I don't live on the cul-de-sac, so I'd have to get cul-de-sac approval.
That's okay. That's all right. I got an in. I live here.
And 2, I'm going to teach him to not be an idiot. So he's not coming over.
So coming over for movie night, equals idiot.
No, we'll come over for movie night in a house like normal people with people I know.
Nope.
If you want me to,
Any movie I watch is going to be on the side of a house.
You want me to throw a beanbag chair in the back of the car and go sit in your lawn?
Oh, you are going to miss it. You are going to miss out on the greatest entertainment event of the summer of 2024, probably.
I've already told you what I'm doing. I'm driving my car over here, and I'm just sitting on the horn for minutes at a time.
Donuts out in the street.
And then I'm going to shoot flares at you.
I really notice a pattern developing.
Yep. Oh, boy. Well, boy, we got sidetracked because you're on a time crunch, so we have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But to talk next week, to follow up, we have some audio we have to play from Jesse Douglas, who sent us some updated music.
Of course.
That he utilized, Steve,
yes,
with your body noises being used in the sounds of the EDM that he makes. That, again...
Jesse's been in the studio for a lot of hours.
Yeah, Jesse's hunkered down using noises of your throat and stomach as part of his music. That, again, is not DJ Fluffy Pillow. That is Phantom Maggot AX.
Phantom.
And again,
he has not. He hasn't taken our advice yet to change everything about that.
I'm telling you, it's right there. It's already SoundCloud.com/Jesse-Douglas. He doesn't need to change that, but he has on the page.
Jesse Douglas. Your initials are DJ backwards. You could be DJ JD.
Done. Boom. Make it work.
Yeah.
But before we get to the Fast Five, Steve, I did have an update, and I just closed the window like a buffoon.
Good.
I have an update, Steve, on Van Wert listeners. I've narrowed it down. So, Steve, I ask you, how many
hundreds of new listeners do we have in the bustling metropolis, the lovely town, I may add, of Van Wert, Ohio?
I show 140 markets that are measured for podcast downloads as a whole, Steve. Now, I don't...
Does it give you total numbers per market?
It does. It does give us total numbers per market.
Okay.
For... now, I don't
so
know
no doubt market...
I don't know the time frame on this because it's not all time.
Market number one has got to be, 5-6 million, 7 million?
It's weird. And so this is a limited time frame. I don't know
10
what...
10 million? Is it 10 million?
I'll say this. It's in the millions. So, I mentioned Ohio is right behind... boy, there's a third state we don't have any listens to?
Oh, no.
This is heartbreaking. What are the dummies right below Ohio?
Is that Kentucky?
Nope. We have... So, it goes Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. Tennessee's below Kentucky. Virginia... Is it West Virginia? It is.
It is, yeah.
We have no listens in West Virginia.
Not one?
Okay, well, I know where we're putting our billboards. We got Nevada near Roswell. And West Virginia, I already know where we're putting it. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, The Mothman.
Oh,
the Mothman's
beautiful.
favorite podcast is that billboard's going up in West Virginia, Point Pleasant area. So we have 140 measured markets, Steve, for our podcast downloads. Now I'll read you the bottom three. It's Lincoln and Hastings. I don't know where, Illinois maybe?
Lincoln is Nebraska.
Okay, 0. Greensboro /High Point /Winston-Salem.
That's North Carolina.
0.
All right. That doesn't seem like it's a measured market then, if there's 0.
Well, I'm saying that they lump everything into 140 markets, so we have none in those areas.
So the whole country, boom.
100 down to 140.
Okay.
Paducah, Kentucky /Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Harrisburg, Mount Vernon. 0.
Nothing in Paducah, huh?
Nothing in Paducah.
Radio show's on there. I figured it would have taken off by now.
1 in Boise, 1 in Sioux Falls, 1 in Jacksonville, 1 in the Tri-Cities of Tennessee, 1 in Topeka, Kansas, 1 in Yuma, Arizona, 1 in Abilene and Sweetwater. So we have to go from there. So of 140, if you had to guess now, Van Wert, I looked this up. It is included in the Fort Wayne market, which makes sense. It's 70 miles away from Fort Wayne. It's included in the Fort Wayne market.
All right.
If you had to guess its rank out of 140, where would you rank Fort Wayne, Indiana?
I would say it's number 100, 110 maybe, somewhere in there.
Now, for our listens, I'm sorry, I should have clarified.
For our listens.
For our listens, out of 140, Fort Wayne.
About 130.
Steve?
No. You know something? I feel confident.
Okay.
60.
All right. Steve. Being sandwiched by Omaha.
Ooh.
Being sandwiched by La Crosse and Eau Claire. And on the
Wisconsin.
other side, Chattanooga.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Feeling confident.
Fort Wayne's Market. 38!
Whoa!
Out of
All
140, huh?
Thank you.
So what I'm
Thank
saying
you,
is
Van Wert.
Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo. I don't know where any of those are. I'm guessing California. You got some work to do. You're just behind Fort Wayne's Market. Give us some listens. That is in the United States, obviously.
How many listens is it? Like 3?
No, it's higher than that. But again, I don't know what. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not total. It's from a time frame because
But you don't know what the... Yeah.
And I don't know what the time frame is, so I'm not going to say these numbers that are possibly embarrassing, possibly happy. But obviously, our top 4 markets, Steve: Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek. Now, this is an upset, number 2. I don't know if we've mentioned this. Washington, D.C. Number 2.
Is that so?
And it's not that far behind Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek.
Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C. and Hagerstown.
All right.
Nashville's number 3. Detroit's number 4. New York, number 5. Maybe that's the state?
Must
No,
be.
that can't be, because and you'll know why when I get to a few. Portland, Auburn is number 6. Number 7, Albany, Schenectady, and Troy. So the state of New York is. So we got some Manhattan listeners.
Look at us.
Hey, swimming in the big city.
Yeah. Gabagool. Give me a pizza pie. Go Knicks. Right? Who loves the Yankees? Jeter.
Hamilton, Broadway, baby. City that never sleeps.
Yes, the Windy City, they call it.
The Magic City.
The City of Angels.
City of brotherly love.
The city by the bay.
New York, New York. Frank Sinatra, our number 1 listener. But yeah, so next week, music starring Steve's dumb throat from Jesse Douglas, Phantom Maggot. That's coming your way. So be sure to come back for that.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'm going to go first here. Number 1, Kentucky Derby.
Oh, my God, Steve. Now, you might make fun of it, but what controversy, unexpected controversy in the Derby. The most exciting 2 minutes in all of sports. The favorite, or one of the favorites, Maximum Security, ends up winning the race.
Next
not
on
being
the
qualified
list,
to win.
John Taffer.
We can deal without him hosting that, right?
Yeah, he's hosting a new show called Marriage Rescue.
Fix the bars. That's what you do.
If
I remember right, he's been divorced a few times. He doesn't need to rescue marriages.
Unless he has the expertise in, like, is he also a marriage counselor? Or
legitimate marriage counselors and therapists have to be perturbed by this, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because he's just going to do it like bar rescue. He's going to sit in a room while they bicker about money or whatever's going on. And he's going to say, "What are you doing? You know,
shut it down!"
And yell at him.
We're going to shut it down. Third on the list is the Royal Baby.
Oh, is it here?
Not yet. But it could be. By the time this podcast is out in 2 days.
Could be.
There could be a Royal Baby.
Does this harken back for you at all to the time you were able to travel there for the royal wedding?
It does.
Do you miss it? The pomp and the circumstance of a child being born, but they're richer than you, so everybody just gathers.
Yeah, no, not even in the least.
Should we do that for you and Annette? Should we have all the podcast listeners meet outside the hospital?
No, but I think we should definitely have a baby pool.
Oh, yeah,
to
we can do
determine
that. Yeah, let's do that.
the date. We'll have a prize pack. We can give away some candy cigarettes.
Yeah, we can do a prize pack where we can throw you a shirt or something of your choice off of the merch shop, and we'll slap in some candy cigs,
a couple peppermint patties,
some Yorks. It'll be like a Christmas gift.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
That's beautiful.
All right,
Good idea.
stay tuned for that coming up.
Never
Soon. Next, snitty.
Excuse you?
Snitty. That's the
Could
word.
you use
that,
it in a sentence?
That's no, I can't. That's the word that made history this week from the fallout from the Mueller report.
Oh,
and someone.
I'm unfamiliar.
Someone said the word snitty
In the report.
No, it was. Let's see. I can.
Is it like snooty?
Attorney General William Barr threw a memorable line into the mix this week when he referred to a previously undisclosed letter he received from Mueller in dismissive terms. You know, this letter's a bit snitty, and I think
the special counsel seemed to shield
that's
his
gonna
faith.
play.
Oh, we got news for it.
And I think it was probably written by one of his staff people. I don't know. It was it was in one of the New York Times cartoons and
No
everything.
kidding. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I was kind of hoping that you knew more about it.
Yeah, no, I'm usually on that, but I've secluded myself from that lately. It's just the worst. There's never, again, this is why I stopped watching Game of Thrones. There's no joy or happiness in the world, and we should all just forget trying to have it.
Boy, that is very uplifting. Fifth on the list, Jeopardy guy. Still going.
Oh, wow. Wow, you really nailed it down there with Jeopardy guy. Jeopardy James.
Yeah.
James Holzhauer. I love him. Now,
is he at $1 billion now?
He's at $1.6 million, but now, Steve, here's the tough part. No games for 2 weeks. They're doing the teachers tournament for 2 weeks.
If he keeps winning, because I'm assuming that's shot in Los Angeles or something.
Yeah, I think they shoot it in Los Angeles,
they put him up in a hotel the whole time.
I think they have to, right? I mean,
yeah.
The story goes that Ken Jennings, when he won 74 in a row, was sleeping on a cot in the studio in between because he was just there so often. Now Holzhauer's only at 21, but that's the second longest ever. He's made $1.6 million. I don't know the public perception on him. I'm curious because I'm a sports bettor. I love betting on sports. I love this guy. I'm rooting for him every night. We watched it. We were tuning in. It was almost appointment television for us in our house this week. And there's the one game he won by $18 on Final Jeopardy. This guy, this older gentleman, nearly, I think, doubled his to get to $53,999, which will win him 98 out of 100 games.
Yeah.
The average winning...
So did he use Jeopardy guys,
kind of,
used his scheme against him?
Got some double Jeopardies, or daily doubles, and was only $1,000 or $2,000 behind James going into Final Jeopardy, and then risked everything but except for $1, got it, and James had to risk the proper amount, and he did, and he won by $18 by having $54,017 in a nail biter, and then of course came back the next 3 nights and absolutely steamrolled the competition. So I love it. I don't know the public perception. I think the guy's incredible. I love watching it, and I'm rooting for him. I really am.
2 weeks off now. Do you think that's going to...
It can't be good, right?
No.
You're kind of in a rhythm. You're going to the studio.
Sure.
However many days a week they do that or however many episodes they do, and you're kind of in that mindset. Well, now he either goes home for 2 weeks or kind of goes back to a normal life for 2 weeks or for however long they're off from filming.
So he doesn't get any of that money yet, right?
I don't know how they pay that out. You think they're... I wonder if they're cutting him a check as he walks out every night.
The end?
That's a good question. Either I'm sure he's fine now. Now he's pining for a Major League Baseball front office job, so that's always been a dream.
Really,
there's a few teams looking at him to do that. So yeah,
is he like a Moneyball guy?
Well, I mean, the way he's changed Jeopardy, he loves sports. He's been on Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt a few times since he started this run, and he's an analytics guy, and he's kind of revolutionized Jeopardy and is a successful sports bettor. That could be useful in 2019 in sports front offices, which are, kind of burdened by, old white guys who just refuse, I saw him out on the field for a couple of weeks. He looks like a professional.
Yeah.
No, we could use more of what James Holzhauer is doing.
All right, before that, we had Snitty, nobody cares. Before that, we had the Royal Baby. It's Baby
Exciting.
Watch.
Now,
Baby Watch, the baby of Sussex or whatever they'll call them. when they're born.
I would sit here and tell the UK that they're dumb for waiting around for this and being excited for this, but this is also the country that has given a family like the Jenners and Kardashians millions and billions of dollars. So who are we? Who am I to judge anybody?
Before that, John Taffery's got a new TV show coming out. God. Now, he was the host of Bar Rescue.
Great show.
For years, probably 10, 12 years
at
this point.
Is it still going? They're still doing new Bar Rescues?
So? I don't know. I haven't watched it in years.
Yeah, it used to be really good television to watch, but after a while, you're right. It's Taffer yelling at people because there's kind of dead bugs and gross beer lines and yelling, shut it down.
It's just a matter, like that show, very formulaic, and it was just a matter of, it wasn't a matter of whether he was going to fix the bar or not, because he always did. It was a matter of whether the owners, after he left, were going to keep it or switch back. Like the one that I remember was the pirate-themed bar.
Oh, God, yeah. You're tuning in for an hour-long episode to see the text on the screen after it about how it went when he left.
Yeah.
That's it. So, this does not interest me at all. I don't need... it'd be the equivalent of, like, Elizabeth Taylor giving marriage advice, who had 8 marriages.
This was. I think I cut myself off, but he's now going to be hosting a show called Marriage Rescue, where he gives marriage advice. So,
I guess it's just using your personalities.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, in places that they probably don't belong.
Do you think they came to him with that idea, or did he come to them with that idea?
If he's still doing Bar Rescue that's successful, I bet he was content with that, but this is why you see somebody like Elizabeth Banks now hosting whatever the newest reboot of a game show is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you think...
but they're just using talent that they already have signed to a contract, who's a celebrity and has name power.
Now, going back to Jeopardy, actually, Trebek, his health, not great.
Pancreatic cancer, yeah.
And it's wasn't it like stage 3 or something?
The earliest they can even find pancreatic cancer, it seems like it's like stage 4. Pancreatic cancer is the most deadly cancer of them all.
So, obviously, he's not going to be hosting forever, whether it's because of health issues or
he's also an old man
because he retires.
He's in his 70s.
Who do they bring in to? Do you bring in like Ken Jennings to be the new host of Jeopardy?
I would appreciate that more than what seems like The Price is Right did. I mean, Bob Barker wasn't an actor. Bob Barker wasn't a comedian or anything like this. Bob Barker, is a game show host. That's what he's known for. He got that job by auditioning to be a host. And I think the key with these is that the host is a secondary part.
Yeah.
Right? You're there to highlight the contestants in the game. And I guess Drew Carey's probably better at it now, but the name Drew Carey kind of already, overshadowed, at least at the start, The Price is Right. Mm-hmm. So what do they do for Jeopardy? Do they bring in Bob Costas? Like a guy who they know. Yeah. He'd probably be good.
Yeah, I think you almost have to bring in an unknown. You have to do a talent search. Yeah, yep. Bring in an unknown.
That's not a bad idea though. With Ken Jennings, I didn't know. Has that been bandied about?
I have no idea.
That's a good idea. So. He kind of fits that bill. Yeah, and it kind of looks the part and would do well.
Knows the game better than anyone probably. And first on the list, the Kentucky Derby.
Oh my God, Steve! I never thought there'd be video replay in horse racing, let alone the Kentucky Derby.
Actually, I wanted to talk about the hats.
Oh.
So if we could...
Good fashion weekend. I think it's like the 4th year in a row of just dreadful rain at the Kentucky Derby this year. And because we had a friend of ours, TJ, went last year.
Rolling Thunder.
And he said it was like
the quiet
7
storm.
hours of biblical rain. And I know it rained the year before that. So it's been at least 3 years now of heavy, heavy rain. Looks miserable there. Yet you still have all those super wealthy people wearing tuxedos and ladies
fancy
wearing
hats.
Their stupid-looking hats in the crowds and in the suites that cost thousands and millions of dollars.
So tell me, in a nutshell, in a condensed version, because honestly, I really don't care. What happened? I know there was controversy. I know someone... did the winner get disqualified?
So for the first time in the Kentucky Derby history, the winner gets disqualified from its win based on the horse leaving its lane in the race and bouncing outside to impede 2 other horses from their own running lanes. They had to slow down and were impeding themselves. Nearly caused an accident.
I thought that you started in your lane.
Yep.
But once you got out of the gate, everyone just moves over.
I guess blocking is not okay.
Okay.
That's my understanding, because now this is, it's happened in NASCAR forever, Steve, where if you're in the lead, you have that advantage. You can kind of block and do what you need to prevent people from passing you. I guess it's kind of forbidden or looked down on in the Kentucky Derby. So immediately after the winner's announced, maximum security. Mike Tirico on NBC says, but there are rider objections, which I've never heard of before. But 2 jockeys objected to this win,
which I would imagine. I wonder if that's rare for there to be objections.
I think there's objections, but obviously not on the scale of the Kentucky Derby. Now, this is millions of dollars at stake, let alone not just the victory, but in stud fees down the road for the jockeys themselves. I don't know how that payout works if you get disqualified. But so there's 3 stewards who looked at this video for 22 minutes or something like that and came out, and it didn't matter. There's going to be controversy anyway. If you don't overturn it, you have people mad saying, well, it only won because they impeded the horses behind it. But the horse that ended up getting the win was still beat out by maximum security, but is now handed a win even though it actually finished in second place.
Right, which has to be...
It's a kind of hollow, but for the owners, they probably don't care. They just got the prize pool.
So was the horse or the jockey that was awarded the win?
Yeah.
Are they still excited?
Yeah. Yeah, the camera happened to be on them when the owner and trainer looked up at I think they have the post, and I think it probably changed to DQ for the horse that had won, and they start jumping around, celebrating and hugging, and I mean, the crowd was booing when they were interviewing the owner of this horse that won by default. It's a weird scenario. You know, this horse won, but it didn't win, where the horse that won, but did it win because it was cheating? No winners. Not a great look. Oh, I was enamored.
No broken legs or anything?
Sadly, no. We stay tuned for the Preakness Stakes in I think 3 weeks and hope for some devastating foot injury.
So really, it wasn't the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. No.
Fast 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Kentucky Derby.
Hey, horses.
I can't believe you didn't watch or weren't following it after that.
Didn't watch a minute of it. Didn't even know that it was Kentucky Derby Day until a friend of ours, Wendy, posted a picture of
her in a hat from a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I was like, oh, horses. Neat. Cool.
North Korea.
Oh, are they doing something?
Fired some more short-range missiles into the sea. But it's okay. Our president's on it. He said he thinks it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I
totally
thought they had agreed that.
Steve, I told you it's fine. Did you not hear?
Yeah, I know.
Jeez, man.
I am not nervous about that in the least.
May the 4th.
Huh? Star Wars.
This is my perfect time to celebrate, though, that it kind of got brushed under the rug, and nobody sent me in time anyway. It's gonna be May.
Yeah, that seemed like kind of seems like it's fizzling out.
Thank God. And I talked about that last year, and listeners thought that was a real hoot to send that meme to me that I hated. But yeah, May the 4th, the big Star Wars holiday was this past, was yesterday, Steve.
Barf.
Did you celebrate by watching the original trilogy, or?
No, I just hate everything about that and people who are too into it. I hate people who are too into anything, really.
And you say I'm the surly one, and you're just ripping against things that bring people joy.
Yeah, but when you're like, when you're the like 40-year-old couple who's like really into something that's for little kids, like, oh yeah, we love Winnie the Pooh. Shut up.
I know. Can you imagine being a 32-year-old with a Spider-Man tattoo?
Ugh, gross.
I mean,
loser, balding.
I mean, grow up already.
Virgins.
Get over it. Jesus. Pete Buttigieg.
What?
The San Francisco or the South Bend mayor running for president.
No.
Pete Buttigieg, first openly gay candidate for president.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I saw an article about the first openly gay.
Oh, yeah.
Person running for president, but I did not know the name.
Oh yeah, Pete Buttigieg, now on the campaign trail, was on the cover of Time magazine with his husband Chastin this past week, and now being subjected to, just at these rallies he's doing, to homophobic slurs and being yelled at. Unbelievable to actually see happening. But the bigger point, Pete Buttigieg, not the newest candidate, not the newest entrant, but 21 Democratic candidates now for president next year. 21.
Good, yeah. It seems like the Democrats really learned a lot from the disaster of 2016.
There's Castro or someone just got enough donors. You need 65,000 donors to get on the debate stage. There's a good chance there's going to be a debate with 15 to 20 candidates.
It's going to be a disaster. How do you set yourself apart?
You can't.
No.
I mean, so you have, this is the openly women of color, openly gay, but then you have the stalwarts and Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders.
I don't know why they bother.
There's still rumors that maybe Michelle Obama's going to jump in later on this year.
There's a chance Michelle Obama.
I don't think so. Not this cycle anyway, because you're jumping into a blender.
Yeah.
There's way too much going on that side. Kind of incredible to see this happen, that they can't come to... Eventually they will come together behind a few candidates or whatever, but you're going to... you're entering the same fray with, they were called the Bernie Bros in 2016. Are you going to have that faction who is, well, I wanted Bernie, I'm not voting for Biden because it's not Bernie or, a different candidate like that?
More importantly, if a Republican decides to challenge Trump, when does that happen?
Yeah, if there's going to be a primary objection, I don't know when they announce that. You got to remember, we're still a year away from primaries. And there's already 21 Democrats. I don't know what Republican would. I don't know how that works. Would that be the first primary challenge to an incumbent president, like with some substantial meaning behind it? I'd love to see it. I don't know what states would get behind it, but I'd love to see it just because I love political chaos and I want to see this whole thing turned on its head. And lastly, Steve, Peter Mayhew.
Chewbacca. He was the one that wore a costume.
Before that, Pete Buttigieg. We talked about him quite a bit at length. Yeah, first openly gay candidate for president, now being subjected to slurs. I think he returned some money. It came out that he got some money from some lobbyists, so he returned it because that's the new thing now, right? After Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did it with $0 from any lobbies
AOC.
Or groups. That's the new thing now. People are going to be tracking how much money you get from different lobbies and different large companies. So the cycle of financial politics is never going to be more scrutinized than it is right now and going forward. Yeah. Before that, May the 4th, you said you loved it.
Love it, yeah. Send Kyle all your Star Wars memes. He'll be sure to send them to me.
Before that, North Korea, launched some short-range missiles into the ocean. Horrifying. It's not to the point where it should be terrifying for us, but it's a domino effect, which I hate using that term because that led to Vietnam, but it's a domino effect of if Japan has to do something or South Korea, China gets involved, and next thing you know, it's a massive military involvement with a lot of countries. That's the fear, I think, of North Korea.
Yeah.
And that's the fear kind of with Saudi Arabia and Iran, too, getting the same thing. So, times are super smooth, and everybody seems like they're happy as pie. And before that, the Kentucky Derby. We talked about it at length, Steve. Maximum Security, their win ripped out from under its hooves. The jockey...
so they put that horse down, right, for cheating?
Oh, there's no question. It's at the Elmer's store. Just conveyor belt.
Just running it running it through a bandsaw.
They had it step on a Lego, so it's worthless now. So they just throw it in a wheelbarrow and shove it into the Elmer's factory, and it's done. And coincidentally, same thing with the jockey who cheated.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, while we were doing the Fast Five, I have Facebook pulled up. Okay. Do you realize that today's a big 1-year anniversary for this podcast?
No. What did we do a year ago on this podcast? Had an intro, which makes sense.
Oh, I think I know what this is. I think I do tell. Somebody get me a trash can.
Oh!
Interesting you say that. I don't appreciate the ice cream base, actually. It's the cookie dough I always enjoy. Chocolate chip, plentiful.
This one kind of tastes like smoke. like someone at the factory was smoking a cigarette.
Okay.
And blew the smoke into it.
I give that a 16.
Oh, I gave it 1.5 stick figures.
I give mine 3 Pac-Man ghosts.
The big ice cream taste test.
The big ice cream taste test took place 1 year ago on the Steve and Kyle podcast.
0 answers came from that. 0.
No. Well, when that, I guess our scoring system, in hindsight, may have been a bit confusing.
Well, hey, listen, it's not on me to explain the rules to you, bunch of jerks. Figure it out,
All right. So next week we have a bunch of stuff. We have some audio from Jesse that we're going to play. We have possibly more info on the big celebrity guest.
This is big. This is big.
In this world, this is big.
Yeah, it really is.
Very much looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
You can download the latest shows and be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, Spotify, at Steve and Kyle on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And you can call or text your questions, your comments, or your concerns, 424-30-SK-POD. Mm-hmm. That's 424-307-5763. That's about it, right?
That's all we got.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Talk to you next week. See ya.